Welcome to Looplearnings, and in today's topic I'm going to demonstrate the VBA coding for data entry forms. So stick around and let's get started. If you're a regular visitor of my channel, welcome back, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to Looplearnings. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell icon because I make 2 videos in a week. One video is about soft skill, another video is about Microsoft Office or general computer tips. So in today's video, we are going to demonstrate the VBA coding for data entry forms. And I will take you to the Microsoft Access. But before that, I would like to tell you that this is a video series. We have already made 5 videos that are published already. Their links will be in the description below. So I would strongly recommend that you watch those videos as well if you want to learn from the start. Otherwise, you can stick around and watch this video till the end for better learning experience. This video is brought to you by Outco Apparels. Visit outcoapparels.com for exciting stuff such as t-shirts, polo shirts, caps, and you can buy them on economical prices. Their website link is also in the description below. Anyway, let's jump right into Microsoft Access and let's start the demonstration of VBA. So now we are in Microsoft Access, and if you have watched my previous video, as I mentioned at the start of this video as well, if you haven't watched the part 5 where we did the VBA coding behind the login form. So basically we did a little bit of coding behind the login form, and if you haven't watched, please do watch so you understand. This is the part number 6 of the video series that we are building. So today we are going to do VBA coding also, but for some other forms. So for example, we'll be doing VBA coding behind these 3 buttons: save, update, and delete for employees form, and for employee types form, that also we will do coding, and if time permits, then we'll do coding behind the parts request form as well. So we'll see how much time it will consume, but it doesn't matter that whether I'll demonstrate in this video the coding behind 1 form or 3 forms or 2 forms. It doesn't matter. The methodology will be exactly same for all the forms. So wherever you are going to do VBA coding, the method, the procedure will be exactly same. So we'll see that within half an hour, because I don't want to increase the time period for this tutorial more than half hour. So we'll see how much we are going to cover in this video. All right, so let's jump right into the employee form. So we'll right click and we'll open in design view. And first let's do a coding behind save button. So basically this button will be used to save the information for the first time. So for example, if you are creating a new record, then you wish to save that record, then you will click here. The update button will be used to update the records. By name it is very much understood, which means if for example you have to amend the name, or you have to amend the email address or department or login information or whatever information you will change, and after changing that information you will have to update that record as well. So that will happen by clicking on update button. And delete also is self-explanatory. This button will be used to delete the existing record. Okay, before I even go to the VBA editor, I would like to talk about some of the logic that we are going to build. So whenever you are presenting this user interface, basically this form, to a user, you don't want users to leave any of the important field blank. If that is the case, then your input of data, the data information that you are collecting, will not be accurate, and hence it might affect the operations during working on Microsoft Access. So it would be good practice to put some sort of logic. So what logic I'm talking about? So of course, if someone is filling in details for the employee, you don't want to save the records without the name. You don't want to save the record without email ID. You don't want to save record without choosing the department. You don't want to save record without employee type. So these are the mandatory fields that you want users to choose or provide information about, and then you allow them to save the data. Sometimes it may happen in some of the forms, some of the information is mandatory and some information may not be mandatory at that particular time when you're creating a record. So in that case, you have to build some logic behind it, so users don't leave any of these mandatory fields empty and proceed with the saving the record, because that will be a junk information, junk data, which will not be really helpful. So in this form, in our scenario, we want every single field as a mandatory field, which means if user wants to select, if user want to save the information, user have to have provided the information in all the text fields or drop down lists. So then only a user will be allowed to save the information. One more thing I would like to point out, if you will see here, employee type is 0, and if you will click on the drop down, it is 1. So how would you know what is the meaning of 0 and 1? So let's fix this before we go for the VBA. So we'll right click, we'll go to the design view, and I will select this drop down or combo box, and we'll go to the property sheet. If you don't see your property sheet here, you go to design and click on property sheet, you'll be able to get that. And in this particular scenario, we'll go to the data tab. Now what we have done, this drop down or this combo box, we have linked with the record source is the query. So we have built in the query. So we'll click on ... and there are two columns in this query. First column is employee type ID, second column is employee type. If I will run this query, and we will see this, there is employee type 1 and the name is employee type is manager. So let's close this, and we want what? We want named employee type to be appeared here instead of these numbers. So we'll go again to design view, and one thing I will go again. So here, if you see, there are two columns in the query. In query, always this is column 0, right? The first column is column 0, and then the second column is column number 1. So we want this column number 1 to be appeared in this drop down menu. So how do we do that? We'll go to the format, and in here we'll see the column count is 1. So we'll change it to 2, because in our query there are 2 columns, and column width we have to provide the information here. So column width, I want to hide the first column where zeros and ones are coming. That information will still be there, but we don't want that information. What we want is employee type, which is in column number 2. So first column we will hide. In order to hide, we will say it's 0 centimeter, the width of that, and column, and then 1 centimeter. So that is the procedure. If I will save, and I'll go to the form view again, and now if I will click on the drop down, we'll see manager. We'll see the normal English language which we can understand rather than zeros and ones. Okay, hopefully you got the idea what I was doing there. Anyway, now let's go ahead and do the coding. So we'll select save button, and we'll go to the property sheet. I'll click on event tab, and we are going to create on click event. So I'll click on dot 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 and double click on code editor. So now we are in VBA editor. The first thing, as you know, we have to do the error handling. If you remember, when I was doing the VBA coding in the previous video, if you haven't watched, please do watch. The link is in the description below. The first thing I always would like to do is the error handling, because that's very important. So let's write the code block for error handling. So it starts with on error resume next. Hit enter, give a little bit of space, and then we will write if error is not equal to 0, then what should access do? Well, present a message box. What message box? Well, you can type it anything here, for example, contact support, all right, comma, give an error number as well, so whoever is looking at that error, they know what error it is, and so it is easy for them. Okay, ampersand error ampersand. Okay, all right, just follow whatever I'm doing, and you can also. So we want to provide an error description, but message type is VBA critical, and we want to give some sort of heading to this message. So I'll say oops, error occurred. Okay, and whenever you have opened the if block, you have to close that block as well. So end if. So that's the code block for error handling. So now you are in kind of safe hands. All right, so now let's go ahead and jump in and write our code for logic that we were talking about, which mean we don't want any of these fields. So employee name, email, department, employee type ID, login, and password. We don't want any of these fields empty, and user should not be able to save that information. Every time, even if this one field is empty, you give the error that this cannot be done. So how to build that logic? So we'll start with if. Okay, if is null. Is null mean if any of this field is empty. Okay, so we'll start with employee name. If is null, and bracket open, me dot employee name, not ID, me dot employee name dot value, bracket close, is equal to true. Then, so basically we're telling here, hey Mr. Access, look for a value in this text box. If this is empty, then what you should do? Well, you should present an error. So do cmd.beep. I always like to have beep. Message box, what message you want to give? So you want to give a message that, hey Mr. or Miss User, please provide the required information in this text box. Then only you can proceed for saving the information. Okay, so we'll give a message box, please provide the employee name in the given text box. Okay, you can type any kind of message that you wish to do. So what kind of message it would be? It will be critical because it's an error, and the heading of that message would be information. What else we would like to do is point the cursor of automatically towards that text box, so people should know that okay, so this is where the missing information is. So we want to set focus there. So what we need to do cmd dot set focus. No, that's not me dot emp name dot set focus. So sometimes this can happen. All right, okay, so you are setting focus. So one code block is completed to check whether there was information in this text box or not, and if there is no information, then give this error. If there is information, then forget about this text field, go and check the next one. I hope you're getting the point which I'm trying to make here. So now let's build a code block. Let's write a code block for email field. Okay, so here we'll start the next code block with else if. Okay, first you started with if this happened, give this error, or check this field also. Else if is null. Okay, me dot email dot value is equal to true, then, so my friend, check email now. Okay, then we want the same kind of error, so do cmd dot beep message box, please provide the email address of the employee. All right, that's the message we want. We want critical message. Okay, comma, and heading we want is information. Enter. We want to set focus also, me dot email dot set focus. I hope I'm not too fast. By the way, I'm not too fast. All right, so you have done the coding for the second text box as well. So this is how you will proceed one by one, and you will keep writing the code blocks according to the number of fields, and that's what I'm going to do now. The next one is department, so we'll type it else if is null, me dot department dot value is equal to true, then to cmd dot beep message box, please choose the department from drop down list. All right, so why the message is different as compared to the first two code blocks? Well, I'll explain you in a bit. Let me complete this code block. Me dot department dot set focus. Okay, so here the message says please choose the department from drop down list, because this is a combo box, this is a drop down box, so message is accordingly. Okay, now next one is employee type ID. Then else if me dot again else if is null, that's what we are checking here, is null. What I'm doing, so else if is null, me dot employee type ID dot value is equal to true, then do cmd dot beep message box, please choose the employee type from drop down list. Okay, will be critical, and the title of the message box should be information, me dot employee type ID dot set focus. All right, next text box is login and password. So else if is null, me dot login dot value is equal to true, then where we are. Okay, else. See, because of only E was missing, it is giving an error. So we have to be very careful whenever we are writing this code. Sometimes we just miss one character and it recognizes and it starts giving error. So do cmd.beep and message box, please provide the login information such as login ID. Okay, VB critical title information me dot login dot set focus. Now last field we have is password. Me else if is null me dot password dot value is equal to true, then do cmd dot beep message box, please provide the password. Okay, comma critical and then information. All right, so now since we have covered all the text boxes and drop down menus wherever we wanted to put some logic behind, what is the next step? So basically until now whatever code block we have written, those code blocks were to check if any of these fields were empty. Next step is if these fields are not empty, so then what should access do? Well, straightforward, save the information whatever is been given and then give a message saying your information has been saved. Okay, so here we will put the interval which is else. So now we will say, okay, if you can't find any of these, else. Oh, okay, so I have to give set focus also here, me dot password dot set focus. Okay, else what you should do, well, you save the information, do cmd dot save the information, do cmd dot beep, give a message box to the user, so user should know that yep, successfully done, the employee has been created and information is saved in the database. These messages, whatever you want to display, you can change according to your requirements. This will not be VB critical because the operation is successful, so it should be VB information rather than VB critical. VB critical will be only used when user make a mistake. Okay, and then we want this to end if. Remember, whenever you open if block, you have to close that if block with end if. So let's debug this, save it, close it, go to the form view of the form. Let's try to save without putting anything. And we got the information saying please provide the employee name in the given text box. The moment I will click OK, you will see the cursor will automatically move to the employee name text box. There you go. You see cursor is here automatically, so the user knows that I have to give this information. And this happens because we put this logic, we put this one line small code saying me dot employee name dot set focus. So that's how it remembers. So let's create a record. Let's say I will give my name and let's give an email. So Akash at 123.com. Let's choose the department, sales, employee type, manager. Well, okay, one thing, why it is only one employee type showing? Well, we have created only one employee type record. That's why if you will create multiple employee types, we will be able to see the whole list of those employee types. So if I'll try to save the information now, will it be saved? No, it will ask to provide the login ID also. Okay, should I save the information now? Well, we have to provide the password also. Now you're getting my point, right? This is the logic you have to build. Otherwise, user will be creating the information, half of it, and which will not be useful. So this is my password. Now when I click save, it should be saved. Okay, there you go. Now this time the beep is also different. So the employee has been created and information is saved in the database. Thank you. Click OK, and that's it. Okay, now there is another logic that if you want this form to be closed automatically, you can build it. If you want to not only to close the form but also update your list box, that also you can do, which I will demonstrate in the next video perhaps, where we are going to build what do you call this, junction form? I call it dynamic form, where I put one list box and we can collect any of the information from the database, so which will be coming up in the next video perhaps. All right, so save button, we have created a record. Now what happens if I click on save again? Right, nothing will happen, because once the data is saved, it's saved. Next coding we have to do is behind update button. So what will be logic for the update button? First of all, that you will have to think. See, programming is all about creating logics, all about creating a series of steps that you want users to take. So update mean, first logic you want to build, that no one should be able to update record, no one should be able to update anything if any of this field is empty. That's the first thing you have to make sure, right? So that logic you will have to build, similar to the logic that we built for save button. If is null, that will be logic. So there has to be at least some data, some information in at least these two boxes, then you will be able to update the information. So name or employee type ID should have some sort of data in it, so then only you'll be able to update. If it is empty form, all the fields are empty, what you will update? You will update nothing, because that in that situation you will have to create record first. Once the record is created, then only you can update. That's the logic, right? So we have created the record. Now we have to update the record. For example, I want to change from sales to service. Okay, I want to change and update the database. Also, I want to change the password as well. So I want to update these two information types in by clicking the update button. So let's go ahead and do the coding for the update button. All right, right click, design tab, design view, click on the update, go to the property sheet, event tab, on click event dot 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 code builder, and you will see here we have to write the code. So again, the first thing we need to do is build error handling. So that starts with on error resume next. Hit enter a couple of times, give a little bit of space, and then copy this instead of writing. Well, if you're learning, then I would recommend you to write with your hands, and otherwise You can copy and paste like me. Okay, now let's build a logic. So logic is, we don't want to proceed if at least these two fields are filled, then only we'll be able to proceed next. We'll be able to update record. If these two fields are empty, then user should get an error. So first we will give a logic. If is null employee type ID or employee name, then give an error. So we'll start with if is null me dot employee ID dot value is equal to true, then do cmd dot beep message box, please choose a record to proceed further with the update. Okay, what type of message? It's critical because it's an error, so title would be information to the user, and we want to set focus now because this is an ID field and it is not editable. We don't need to set a focus here. Yes, we will set a focus on employee name if that is missing. Else if, honestly, it's only employee ID. If you will keep that only, you can still build that logic, but being on the safer side, let's have another text box also with this logic. Else if is null me dot employee name dot value is equal to true, then do cmd dot beep message box. What message box? Please choose an employee record to proceed to update the information. Dot, what type of message it should be? It should be critical because we are giving an error. Title of the message should be information, and now we can set focus. All right, hopefully you are understanding, hopefully you are following me. The logic that we have built is there has to be some record, then only we can update that record. It's a general logic, so that's why at least these two fields, some record should be there, then you can proceed for updating the record. Else, then save the information, do cmd dot save. Okay, do cmd dot beep message box, not please this time, the employee information has successfully been updated in the database. That's the message we are going to give. This time it's VBA information because successfully we are saving. The title would be information as well, and if. Remember, whenever you open if block, you have to close that with end if. Save it, debug it. Okay, close, save the record, and now if you will see, right now it says sales, a password is 123. If I'll go to the database employees table, sales, right, and 123 is the password. So let's update this information. So we'll go to the employee and we'll change it to service, and password will change it to perhaps 456. All right, update. The information, employee information has been updated in the database. Let's go ahead and see the database, and lo and behold, service and 456, the database is updated as well. So that's how you build logics. Okay. For the delete record set, it's very simple actually. You select delete button, go to the property sheet, and on click event code builder. Again, we want to activate delete record logic if there is any record here. If there is no record, then what would you delete? Empty record cannot be deleted, right? So you have to have some record here, then you will delete. So basically we are going to put the same logic that we have put in for the employee ID and for the update button basically. So let's copy rather than just typing in again. Let's copy the entire block here. I'm sorry, this construction is going on, so if you are listening to this drill, apologize. So this logic will remain same, but in here, instead of save or this, we have to put another code. Do cmd dot run command. Okay, ac cmd delete. Okay, so that's the code for deleting a record. Save the information, debug it, form view, delete. Okay, nothing is happening. Record is there. Let's go back to accmd dot run command, accmd. Yeah, here accmd delete record. All right, debug, save, form view, and this time, yep, it is working. It is asking, hey, do you want to delete this record? Are you sure? Let's not delete it. Let's click on no. Okay, so if I would have clicked on yes, it would have deleted the record. Okay, so right now it is not yet deleted. So this is how you write code for save, update, and delete buttons. This will be repeated for all the forms that we have created. Same logics, same kind of code methodology for employee types also. So it's only one field, so let me quickly do that. So if you still want to learn, then you are most welcome. So logic again same, we don't want this text box to be empty, and then so we'll go here, code builder. Okay, the first thing, remember again, what we need to do is we need to write code for what? For error handling. Don't forget that. Okay, on error, resume next. Trust me, it is the golden rule that I've learned. Otherwise, if you don't put this error handling, in my previous video I had explained it in detail, but let me summarize it again. If you don't put this error handling, what will happen? The user will be able to get into the backend of your code builder and mess up with the code. So you don't want that to happen. You want them to be restricted on the user interface only. Okay, so that's why it's important that you build these logics. So message box, what we want is contact support. All right, error number column. So just follow whatever I am typing in. This is by far the most difficult code line for me. I don't know but for some reasons this is the most difficult, because most of the time I get error in typing this particular code line, and that's very strange. Error description, comma VB critical, and we want this to be information, or like I mentioned, so let's keep the continuity, and we'll end this with the end if block. All right, so the logic we are building, only one text box that requires to be filled in, then you will be able to save. So is null in me.employee type is equal to true, then so if is null me dot employee type dot value is equal to true, then do cmd dot beep message box, please provide the employee type information to proceed further. Okay, what type of message we want to give this as a critical, and the title of this message will be information. Okay, and we want to set focus also. This is a best practice, make things easy for the users and users will love you. All right, else if that doesn't happen, if this is false, then what should happen? Well, straight away save it and give a message. So do cmd dot save, do cmd dot beep message box, the employee type is created and the information has been saved in the database. This time it should be VB information, because and the title is information, because we have successfully created endif. All right, oops, we have to focus here, not the value. See, that's the reason I always save it, I always debug it, so if there is any issue happen during the coding, then it will show us. Close it, the save button coding is done. Where we have done, oh my god, we have done the coding behind text box. That also happens. So let's Control X, save, event button, code builder. Sorry guys, you might be thinking he doesn't know himself, but trust me, that was a pure mistake. Anyway, now it is behind the code button, oh sorry, save button. Now let's build the code for update button. So we'll click on update, this time behind the button, not the text box, and dot 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 on click event, code builder. Essentially it will be the same code. Okay, there will be no difference at all whatsoever. So here same error, to cmd.beep, because we are updating. So updating record is kind of similar to creating new record. Okay, and because in this case we have only one record to check, That's why the code will be similar. So that's why I copied, making things easy. You can also do that. Let's code behind a delete button. So in here, on click, code builder, click OK. Same code will copy, everything will remain same, only delete this, and in here you have to put in another code. So do cmd dot run command accmd delete record. That's it. Save it, debug it, close it, and then test it. Save, okay, update, and delete. Error: the record cannot be deleted or changed because the employee T included related records. Yes, so this is not an error, this is an information basically, because we have created employee record here, right? And because this is linked database, that's why we have to delete this record first, then only we can delete the employee type record, whatever we wish to delete. So that's because it's a linked database. So this is also one of the reason the relational database works really good. Anyway, so but delete button function is working properly. Anyway, so the same logic will be used for the rest of the forms. In next video, on next Friday, what I'm going to do is we will by the time I will bring the next video, of course I would have done the coding behind all the forms in a similar fashion. You don't have to watch over and over again for each form. So in the next video we will build another form which will be called a dynamic form. Basically, on dynamic form we will be having information from all the tables and we'll put some buttons there. I will explain it, then you will understand when you will see. But if you want to try this coding, if you want to learn properly, then I would recommend you to not only watch, but after watching, restart this video and open your laptop and access and start typing the code the way I am typing. I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope you have taken away some of the information from this video. Please do let me know in the comments below. It would be really helpful. If you like this video, then smash the like button. That's how YouTube knows that this video is good, people are liking it, so it spreads to other users. It would be good if you will do that. Subscribe to the channel if you have not yet subscribed, and hit the bell icon so you get a notification whenever I upload a new video. Anyway, this is it for today. I hope to see you again on my channel. So thank you very much. Till then, take care. Bye bye.